How's it going, everyone? My name's Zera. Welcome to what I guess is going to be my first sort of like rant video or verbal essay or whatever, and it's going to be about the current state of Pokemon. This is my first time doing this sort of thing, so any feedback you can give me would be greatly appreciated. This will also be all-encompassing, so it's not just about the deck cut or just about the community. I'll take everything into account so you can hopefully get a grasp of my opinion on everything that's happening. So with that, without further ado, let's begin. I'm not sure whether I'll put in like gameplay or whether it would just be me. Maybe I'll cut back and forth, I don't know. Enjoy regardless. I want to start off by giving you a general summary of my stance. Now, I don't care about the dex cut, and I think the most vocal people in the community suck. This alone might determine whether you want to continue watching or listening to this video, and if it does, I completely understand that. Click off, dislike, whatever you gotta do. But for the rest of the people who watch this, who share the same opinion as me, or are interested in hearing my opinion too, I'll go into detail about both of these points slightly later on in the video. So the first point I wanted to make goes all the way back to June of 2019, where during E3, Game Freak announced that a lot of the Pokemon were to be cut from Sword and Shield. This obviously resulted in outrage, and myself, I was one of the people who were angry about the sudden split in Pokemon which were going to be in the game. Fast forward to around October, and in an interview, Masada said that Pokemon Cut weren't going to be cut forever and return in later games. Now, then I realised that made sense. That he was putting in a limited amount of Pokemon in the game, but would add the rest in the next Generation 8 games. That makes a lot of sense from a business perspective, and whilst that isn't exactly the best reason for something to make sense, it's all anything is about now, and there's nothing really we can do about that. But also consumers' perspective, as they get to enjoy two games, both when put together contain all the Pokemon that they can trade between them with friends or themselves with two consoles. I'm definitely not defending the fact that Game Freak has definitely been prioritising money over players' experiences recently, which is it's a shame to say the least. About a month ago, the Crown Tundra released, bringing Sword and Shield DLC to a close, and most likely the games in general. I don't think there's going to be a third DLC. I don't see why people would think that. And when the Crown Tundra released, I genuinely think that's like the first time I've actually seen the majority of the Pokemon community happy about something. Of course, there were obviously people who complained, because people love to complain and don't look at the good sides of things. But in my opinion, the Crown Tundra DLC was the best thing that's happened to Pokemon in sort of the last 7 or 8 years. I haven't played Univert, but I've heard a lot about it, and from what I've seen, people seem to like it. The Crown Tundra brought back classic Pokemon stuff like static legendaries who literally stand in front of you waiting for you to catch them, and even roaming Pokemon. I haven't bought the Crown Tundra yet, but I watched Tarantachi play through it, and I've also watched loads of other YouTubers stream things like Dynamax Adventure. When Sword and Shield came out, you honestly didn't really see people playing the game for long after its release, or after they beat it, it was kind of just like, you beat the game and you're done. There wasn't really much to do after it, but with this, the Crown Tundra's been out for like a month, and there's still loads of YouTubers streaming the DLC. Take for example Tube, he managed to get a 12 episode series out of it for DLC. That's crazy. Now the Isle of Armor is a different story though. In my opinion, the Crown Tundra kind of saved the Isle of Armor in a lot of ways. It wasn't great, it had content, but it was basically just an expanded wild area, which isn't objectively bad, don't get me wrong, but linking back to the point about money, I don't think it should have been paid. I think it should have been in the post-game itself, and I think there's a lot of people who share my opinion on that. Even if they brought back the 100 Pokemon which were included in the Isle of Armor, like in the post-game, I don't think people would have been as mad. And then they could have made the Crown Tundra and possibly one other DLC, the expansion pass, and charged the same. That would make more sense to me, because I like Sword and Shield, but they're not worth £50. If we have a look at other games which are priced at £50 for the Switch specifically, you have like Animal Crossing, Super Smash Bros, even Breath of the Wild. Maybe look like a little bit more, but even Breath of the Wild. Sword and Shield, both graphically and content-wise, don't live up to those standards, but they sell at that price anyway. Also on the topic of money, Pokemon Go added a feature which lets you transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home, but there is a catch. You can only transfer Pokemon with a type of energy, and I'll put up on screen now a table from Zera which shows what Pokemon use what energy and whatever. Here's the thing though, you can only recharge your energy once every 7 days. Yes, 168 full hours. That's crazy. Even Joe Merrick from Zera had something to say about it. He said, "I'm generally a positive person. I try to look for the good in the things above everything else. The mechanisms in this are 100% behind making profit above the user experience. I don't care whether it's Niantic or the Pokemon company behind this, it's wrong. Joe makes a great point, adding on to what we've seen before with the cases of Pokemon squeezing every little bit of money they can out of the franchise. This is no exception. As Joe said, no matter who is behind this, it's completely absurd. Pokemon is a kids game. At least it's a game targeted at kids. It's almost as if they're supporting kids spending their money unwisely. It's disgusting and clearly only there for their benefit. On the topic of kids games, let's talk about the difficulty in the main series Pokemon games. This has been a controversial topic since sort of 2013, X and Y time, when the EXP share was just introduced in a new way, basically a switch that made your whole team gain XP, or just the Pokemon who have been in battle. I personally didn't mind the XP share, and with the switch it was fine, and there wasn't much to complain about. Since then, all the main series games have had this feature, so over time people got used to it. It made the games easier, but there was always the option to turn it off. Then we come to Sword and Shield, and in an interview, Shigeru Mori says this: "When thinking of why players would want to turn it off, we thought it would primarily be to give XP points to only one of the Pokemon in your party. We felt the same result could be achieved by players simply limiting the number of Pokemon in their party to 1. There would be a more intuitive way to limit XP point games for most players." This logic is just stupid. There was nothing wrong with keeping the XP share. It would be nowhere near impossible to just add it as a toggleable option. It confuses me. Like, why do Pokemon who don't go out in battle get experience? They don't fight. What have they done except sit in the party, maybe look pretty? It's strange logic, but that's the way it is, I guess, and I don't see that changing. I don't mind much, really. It just makes the games easier than they need to be, and the argument that makes the games more suitable for children is just stupid. Because making a game this easy, like Sword and Shield easy, maybe Sun and Moon easy, is just insulting children's intelligence. Children aren't stupid, they need a challenge. Like, I played Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire when I was like 9, and I found it challenging, but I had the XP share on, and it's the same like as before. You get the XP share like really early, but I don't know, I feel like Sword and Shield easy is just completely insulting children's intelligence. And I barely remember anything about Sword and Shield. Like, even the big Eternatus moment is still only vaguely in my memory, and I went in with an open mind despite all the bad things that I'd heard about the game from before. And even events from previous games, like, I'm not nostalgia bias, I'm talking Diamond and Pearl, but I'm also talking Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, even Usum, like the big Necrozma event, the big Groudon event, Kyogre, whatever. Those have stuck in my mind, probably because of the amount of times I've played the games, but also because I remember like sitting there on my 3DS just playing those games, and the big moment, I remember that. But Sword and Shield, it just didn't really stick. Like, I don't remember what happened with Eternatus that much. I remember him coming up and there was a big Dynamax fight and Zacian and Zamazon to basically carry, or was it both of them? I don't remember. It was the dog just basically carried us, and we beat it. But other than that, I don't really remember much. I also remember getting Zamazenta at the end, the post game. That was actually quite good, actually. Like the fact that you get the dog, you don't get the dog in the main game, you get it in the post game. That was one good thing. But I don't know, the big legendary event didn't really stick with me for this generation. I don't know why. It might just be me. Now let's talk about the, without a doubt, upcoming Zera remakes. Now, whether you like it or not, Zera remakes are definitely coming. That's just a fact. You've had JoJo remakes, you've had many Kanto remakes, you've had Hoenn remakes 2014. This year, it's perfect lineup. It's the 15th anniversary of Diamond and Pearl, and it's the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. My guess for announcement is probably Pokemon Day, February 27th. Is when they announced Sun and Moon for the 20th anniversary. It's I think it's happening. Like, it should happen. Like, you can clip this or whatever, and then on February 27th we'll have a look back and see if I was right. Anyway, that's not the point I'm trying to make here. The point that I'm trying to make is I've seen a lot of people doubting the Gen 4 remakes are actually going to be good. And given the current state of Pokemon, as I've just explained, that's completely bad logic. Like, Pokemon games recently haven't been that great. But missing one key thing, Game Freak always do their remakes well. Like, without fail, the remakes are good. And even if not the remakes, the enhanced versions, like you've got X and Y, which had really bad post game, like there wasn't really much to do at all. But then you had Auras, which has like the best post game in a Pokemon game so far, and then you've got Sun and Moon, which had like a mediocre post game, I guess. And then you had Usum, which brought back like all the team leaders from the past 21 years when Usum released, and just put them all in Rainbow Rocket, made Giovanni big leader. That was that was really cool. But then you also had Necrozma post game as well, like actual Necrozma to fight. Wait, no, I'm remembering wrong. You had Solgaleo or Lunala or whatever. You fight Necrozma, you catch him, whatever, before you get to the Pokemon League. That's right. But yeah, they're all done well. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, still to this day, arguably the best games in the franchise. I haven't personally played them. I really need to play them. But I can't find the time to. I'll probably play them like this week or something. And in my opinion, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, as I've said just now, they probably have the best post games in the franchise. Like, it's just brilliant. The whole thing with Zinnia and Rayquaza and everything, it's just great. Like, you go back and it starts this big Delta episode. Nobody knew about it. I don't think anybody knew about it anyway. But yeah, Delta episode was great. And also, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I don't know whether it's just because they were one of my first games, the games that brought me back into Pokemon, but they have definitely the most replay value for me. Like, I've done so many randomizers of them, and the randomizers have actually been fun rather than skipping through unnecessary text like Usum and Sword and Shield and whatever. But the games they're just good. Like, X and Y had so much unnecessary dialogue, but because Auras was remakes and it took the dialogue basically directly from like Emerald, I don't know whether it was Emerald or Ruby dialogue, it took it from the Gen 3 games and just put it in Gen 6 without any unnecessary stuff. Maybe the Dex Nav, but Dex Nav is cool. We stand Dex Nav, but like, it didn't take anything unnecessary, and that was good. And I think that's what they're gonna do with Gen 4. Like, I don't care if they don't have the national decks. Don't care if they don't have the national decks. Don't care if Pokemon are cut. Whatever they gotta do. But I think they always do their remix well, and I think that's gonna happen for Gen 4. Not just because it was my first games, but I think they're gonna do it well. I hope they do it well. Because if they do it well, it could potentially just become my new favourite Pokemon game. Like, I don't know, man, that's quite a bold statement because I'm a Gen 4, I'm not a Gen 4 stan, but I like Gen 4 a lot because nostalgia, you know, it hits here. Like, no matter if the National Dex isn't there, no matter if the XP share is always on, I think they're going to be great. People will obviously complain though, because people are people, and Pokemon fans are Pokemon fans, and Pokemon fans love to complain. Right, I think that's about all I have to say. If I remember something whilst editing, I'll put it in here now, like a blank screen. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching or listening to this or whatever you've done. I absolutely have no idea how long this is going to be or what the response is going to be. And if it's anything like my Diamond and Pearl video, then the like to dislike ratio is going to be pretty hefty. Also, whilst on the topic of that video, I'd like to say that a lot of my opinions that I had in that video and the production of that video was not great, and the opinions that I had, I basically no longer have. Wasn't great, it's very rushed, 5-minute top 5 video, 1 minute for each point. What was the point? So hopefully that clears that up. Thank you for watching, give the like button a kick in the head, and take care, my friends.